You know, during our interview with Donald Trump last night at Mar-a-Lago, his historic private club in Palm Beach, we asked him to give us his take on how this race is shaping up. As you might guess, he had plenty to say about the race and told us why he is thinking again about running.
Well, things are changing a little bit. I really loved about, as an example, Newt, his debating ability. And he would be the first to say the last two debates weren't that great. I was a little bit surprised. He wasn't the same man that I watched in the previous debates. At the same time, he's got great ideas. He's very smart. He's very tough. And he is a great debater, although he had two that weren't good, in particular the last one. I didn't think he did very well, and he didn't think he did very well. But he is a man of great vision, lots of ideas, but he has some baggage, as we all know. And then you have Mitt, who I thought did very well, in particular in the last debate. He's got, the obvious things, whether it's healthcare in Massachusetts or whatever. I'm not sure. I think that's been so played out. I'm not so sure that's a liability anymore. But he's a solid guy, has a great presidential look, which, whether we like it or not, is an asset. And I think he's really coming on pretty strong. I think he's doing very well. I think Newt's doing very well. I mean, Newt came from nowhere. On your show, I was watching that show, and it looked like it was over. And, you wouldn't have said a few months ago that he'd be fighting it out for first place. So they're both strong guys. They're both tough guys. And I think if they win, they perhaps would have a very good chance of winning the election.
Mitt Romney seems a little uncomfortable with his wealth. That really never bothered you. Should he be more willing to talk about that than he is?
Well, I think he was uncomfortable with it until the last debate. The last debate, he started getting out there and saying, hey, look, I did a great job. I made money. I didn't inherit anything, et cetera, et cetera. And I thought he was very effective in the last debate in terms of that. I thought he was much more forceful in many ways, but also about his success. The American dream is a great thing. That's what it's all about. Everybody wants the American dream. And if you've sort of done well, I think it's okay to talk about it.
Well, what do you think they're doing wrong right now? Because obviously you're still thinking about, well, maybe I ought to get into this thing. What is it that's making you think that?
Well, I just think it's really important. And, I look at the different polls, and one of the big things is, can they win? I just think it's really important for whoever's chosen to be able to win. And I think, people dislike the Democrats and the Republicans more than they ever have. So I actually think the right independent could win. And there was a poll about a month ago, you saw it, where I was the #1 independent choice. Now, it's not, I love my business. I love what I'm doing. I love this whole thing of what Donald Trump does. It's not something I want to do. I'd love to see a candidate come along who's going to go out. But if I don't see a person that #1 is going to win, that's tantamount. I would certainly think about doing it after the show ends. So it's a very sad situation what's happening to the country. And I do say that, and I say many other things, and somehow it resonates with a lot of people, and that's why they, would like me to run. It's not something I want to do, but that's also why the candidates want my endorsement, because I do have millions of people that agree with what I say. I don't know if they like me or not. I don't really care if they like me. They like what I say.
So let me make sure I understand this. You may endorse one of these candidates.
Correct.
If you do that, does that mean then that you definitely would not run as an independent?
If that candidate wins, absolutely. If that candidate would get the nomination, I absolutely would not run. But obviously, if that candidate wouldn't, I'm a free agent. I'm a free agent after May, and we'll see what happens. I really enjoyed the process. I loved going up to New Hampshire. I loved doing everything I was doing, and I was having a lot of fun doing it, but I'd rather do what I'm doing now. I built a great company, a great business. I actually, in my book that just came out, I actually published my net worth, because I did my financial disclosure forms thinking I may very well do this, and I'm getting ready for it, potentially. And I published my net worth statement. And, it was because I'm a private person, nobody really knew. They were the summary pages, and everybody said, wow, that's really a great company. Lots of cash, very little debt, and tremendous net worth. That's what the country should have.
But you're telling me you're really serious about it, and you may, depending on what happens, you may get into this thing after all.
I hope I don't have to, but I may, absolutely. The #1 thing for me is this country. Our country is in a lot of trouble. so I may. I hope I don't have to.